Hello, everyone. Welcome to our October PC Power Hour. I know for most folks, everybody associates October with Halloween, but here at TheDream.Us, we get super excited about launching our new application round. So this year's session is always dedicated. Our October session is always dedicated to really providing our PCs the materials and information they need to properly be able to recruit and promote the scholarship at their campuses. So welcome. So great to see so many of you joining us today. We have a ton of information that's going to be super helpful for you in your recruitment process and being able to access resources that sort of make the process smooth for you. And we have a packed agenda today. So I'm going to ask everyone to please wait until the end to ask your questions. I believe my colleague Nicole has actually enabled the Q&A function, so you can go ahead and start putting your questions in there, but we will address those questions at the end of the session just to make sure that we can cover all of the content that we have prepared for you today. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right into it. So we will first be covering the welcome and application overview. We will be welcoming our new staff member, woohoo, Yahaira Gonzalez, who is coming on as our new scholarship program manager. You guys will all be working really close with Jahida. And then Elena will be giving you a holistic view of the application round with eligibility and an actual walkthrough of what the form actually looks like, which hopefully will be super helpful as you're advising potential scholars on completing the process. I will then go through some of what you can be doing as a PC to promote and recruit for this year's application round. And then we will be going into some of the promotional toolkit and online resources that Gabby will be walking through our website for you to be able to access. We have a special guest from our NP Public Relations Office, Michael, who's going to be talking about external communications, media supports, and press releases. We know that some of our PCs are accessing press releases, and Michael's going to be instrumental in providing you a ton of information on how you can do that. And then, as mentioned, we'll go through the open forum where you can ask all of your questions, and we can go through all of that, and then we'll finalize it with some last minute announcements. So without further ado, want to welcome Yahaira Gonzalez.
Hi everyone, my name is Yahaira Gonzalez and I'm the new scholarships program manager here at TheDream.Us. And I actually used to be undocumented. I was a former dreamer as well. I came to the country when I was 8 years old. So I remember how impactful and crazy it was to learn I was undocumented and what it meant for me when I wanted to go into higher education in college. So thankfully, I had a system of support around me, and I was able to gain a scholarship very similar like this one to go through school. And I finished my undergrad, and also I did my graduate studies as well. And having that support system around me was essential in my success. And I just remember navigating the uncertainty and the fear and the anxiety that comes with being undocumented. But having the people around me was essential. And that's what we do here at TheDream.Us and what you do as our partner colleges. So I'm excited to get to work together because I know that our work really is transformative for our students and really helping to build that community for them so they can know their potential and make sure that they make an impact in their communities and their careers as well.
Thank you so much for that, Yahaira. And we're super excited to have Yahaira, and I know you all are going to be super excited to work with her and just sort of making our processes more effective and just all of us working together more smoothly. With that, I will pass it on to Elena to start talking about the application round.
Hi, everyone. I can't believe November 1 is on Friday and all the work that has gone into getting everything ready for the launch of the new round. But just to give everyone just a quick overview sort of everything application related this year. For our opportunity scholars, those applying for that, the application is going to close on January 31st. And those awards are going to be announced in mid-March. And then for the national program, that one will close on February 28th. And those awards get announced in late April. One new sort of thing with updates that ISTS has made to their website that will be sort of nice is, even though both of those dates fall on a Friday and is not something that we typically like to do for closing an application, just because you still have those last minute folks, any sort of troubleshooting that they may have, you know, come 5 p.m. Central Time, there's nobody at ISTS to help walk them through that. So for anyone who has already started their application, at least as of that final day, they will actually have through the weekend to finalize it. So the application won't actually like close for them until the following Monday. But if somebody has not started an application by the 31st or the 28th, they will be out of luck. So a little nice to know that we can kind of extend it just that little bit so that if there's any sort of troubleshooting that needs to happen, ISTS will be there Monday morning. So just as a quick heads up on that. So next slide, Chris. All right, some new changes this year for opportunity. Starting with the 25-26 academic year, and I know this doesn't apply to the majority of our partner colleges on the call, but for those that are part of our opportunity program, we have made the decision to increase our award, which will be the first time we have increased it in going on 10 years now for opportunity. So in the past, it has always been an $80,000 award. This year, it's moving up to $100,000. And like I said, that will take effect in the 25-26 academic year, not only for those that are awarded this year, but for our current scholars as well. Nothing changes with national on the award amount, so that will stay the same. So it's up to $16,500 if they're going for their associate's degree, and then they can use the remaining $16,500 to go for their bachelor's degree, or it's just the $33,000 for the bachelor's degree. And then the majority of our scholars also receive up to a $6,000 stipend for books, supplies, and transportation. Next slide. All right, so for opportunity, we had one other change that happened this year. Last year we had 22 states that we considered locked out, and this year it is 21. So Vermont came off the list this year because they passed in-state tuition and state aid available for those living in Vermont. So they're national only, so they did come off this list, but for anyone who lives in one of these 21 states, they are eligible to apply to not only the national program where they would be able to attend Purdue University Global, but also to one of our opportunity partner colleges. As long as they meet all the qualifications, these are the states they have to live in and have graduated from one of those locked out states in order to be eligible to apply to the opportunity program. Go ahead and move on. For the national scholarship, nothing here has changed. They still must be eligible for in-state tuition if it is at one of our public partner colleges. If it's a private college, they don't have to worry about that, but they still have to live in the state that that partner college is located in. Plan to enroll in either an associate degree or a bachelor's degree at the partner college in their state, either the fall of 25 or spring of 26. So that is a little different with opportunity. Opportunity, they must start in the fall. With national, we allow them to start in either the fall or the next spring. And then those that are already in college and want to apply, they are more than welcome to. We removed the credit threshold several years ago. So if they're a continuing college student and they wish to apply, they can definitely do that. Next slide. All right, so for the immigration eligibility criteria, the only thing that changed here is the date of arrival. So for anyone who is newer to our program, or anyone that has recently joined their partner college on the team, we always have a 5-year arrival date. So if they have arrived to the US before the age of 16, 5 years prior to the open of our application, so for this year, it's November 1, 2019, and they meet all of the other eligibility criteria, then they are eligible to apply for the scholarship. Next slide. So in the application, none of this information is anything new. We want some personal information. So for the applicant, we want to know who they are, things like date of birth, things like information like that. We do not collect their addresses. We only need to know their city, state, and zip code. We want to know what their immigration eligibility is. Then moving on to their academic information, we want to know what school they're selecting as their first choice partner college if there are multiple within their state. We'll get their high school and or college information depending upon the information they provide us in the application. Financial information, this is all self-reported, but we want to know whether they identify as a dependent student or an independent student, what their annual household income is, how many in the household are supported by the income, and of the dependents supported by the income, how many will be attending college in the next academic year. Then the next piece is the responsibilities section. So that's where they can list any volunteer work that they do, community service work that they do, any sort of honors and awards that they've received, while in high school, college, as well as their home responsibilities. And the home responsibilities is key for us since we do know that with our population of applicants, a lot of them don't have the ability to, do volunteer work, community service work. And so the home responsibilities for us is another way to sort of, see what they're doing at home. Are they helping out, with constantly translating for family members, having to go to doctor's appointments, having to help homework, for their younger siblings, different things like that. So that section allows us to sort of gain some information there from them. So next slide. And the one essay that we brought back last year will be in the application again this year. So it is a 750 word max essay. It does sort of give them that prompt, and I'll show it to you because when I start to walk through the application. But the essay prompt we have listed here below. So the TheDream.Us recognizes the challenges and aspirations of undocumented immigrant youth, also known as dreamers. How has the journey and experiences as a dreamer shaped your identity and perspective? In what ways do you envision leveraging who you are and your experiences to contribute to your community and college campus if they are awarded the scholarship? So we list it here for them. We also list it in the application guide, which is they can find on our website, so they can go ahead and start working on it now. They don't have to wait until they get into the application to see, sort of what the essay question is. The other thing that for any of you that are working with applicants, we do encourage them to let somebody else read their essay. So, go ahead and have it written, let somebody else read it so that they can have feedback on the essay, whether it's, some spelling, grammar, so have it be, one of their teachers, counselor, anything like that. So just a little heads up there that we do encourage them to have somebody else read it. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So the only thing that they have to upload to the application is their transcript. And it could be up to 3 transcripts depending upon what information they provide us in the application. And that'll let them know what they are required to upload. So if they are coming out of high school, and they will be a college freshman or a college sophomore. They're required to upload a copy of their high school transcript. If they have gone through a GED program, they need to upload a copy of their GED certification. And then if they have earned college credits outside of high school, whether at a community college, a 4-year, or from both, those would also be required to be uploaded. And then just as a little side note, we do allow for GED applicants for national only. If they are trying to apply to Opportunity and they have earned a GED, unfortunately, it's a high school graduate only for the Opportunity program. Next slide. And then the other thing that we do mention, in the application is that they need to also apply to their partner college of choice by our application deadline, just so that's a help for you to also, as you're looking through your applicant reports, to see who has already started applying, or who it is that you need to reach out to as they are filling out the application, to make sure that they're also applying to their partner college of choice. Next slide. All right, so I am actually going to share my screen now and kind of walk you through some of the updates that ISTS has made to their website and how that is going to look this year for those applying to the scholarship. So I'm going to go ahead and start here just under Opportunity, just so we can walk you through how it looks when they get into the initiation form. And then as long as the questions that they've answered in the initiation form are ones that would allow them into the application, sort of how that flows. So from applying here, please ignore anything that says ISTS only. This just happens to be from my login. Nobody else will see this information. But it's going to start here. Again, it lists the states that we consider as our locked out states. And I'll blow it up a little bit, but anytime I do change pages, I will have to re-blow it up. So if you have the ability to increase the size just on your screen, go ahead and do that as well, just so you can see. Well, I need this to quit. Sorry, I'm trying to hit the scroll bar and my dock keeps moving over there. Okay. So we do also, with Opportunity specifically, tell them they need to research their schools, because we do not allow for transfers. So that information is provided here. So the information they are going to see when they log in, whether it be to the Opportunity or national application, is again the criteria for the program. So undocumented immigrant with or without DACA or TPS who came to the US before November 1, 2019, before the age of 16, all of that information. So they're going to let us know what their immigration status is. So for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and say I am undocumented. And then, have you previously received the Dream.Us scholarship? The one thing that I will mention here for anyone who knows that somebody has applied in the past, maybe has been awarded the scholarship, but never actually received funds from us because for whatever reason, they just were not able to enroll, the academic year that they were awarded for. If they have not received funds for this question, they need to say no. If they say yes, they will not be allowed into the application. And that is only for those who have been awarded and never received funds. If they have received funds in the past, they are truly not eligible. So I'm going to say no, I've not received it. I'm going to say that I live in Alabama, since I do. Graduated in Alabama. And then I'm going to say that I am a high school graduate with a 2.5 or higher GPA. Because I have answered all of those in the affirmative that will allow them into the application, it is now automatically going to drop me into the application. If they were to select something that doesn't, so if they select a state outside of one of our locked out states, they say that they don't have a GPA that's 2.5 or higher, and they hit that submit button, they will receive an error message at the top that says, based on the information you've provided, you are not eligible for the scholarship. All right, so the overall feel of the application really does stay the same. Like, there's not really any drastic changes with that. It's going to be more so on the home page, which I'm going to share with you in just a moment. But just so you know, they can move through the application at any direction they want to. So they can either do it from hitting any of the tabs across the top of the page, or once they get to the bottom of the page, they can hit the next button. So for this one, I'm just going to jump over to the essay because I did mention that. So there is a word limit count. So it says it's 750 and the word count right now is at 0. As soon as I start typing in anything, you can see the count goes up. The one piece that I want to mention is this section will allow them to go over 750 words. So if you're working with anybody and that count is over 750, if they were to go ahead and save their application and hit submit at the end, anything over 750 words will not come through to us. So it will literally cut their essay off at 750 words. So again, if you're working with anybody, please sort of stress that to them, that if they go over that, and we've had it happen, that we don't see the full essay at that point. So for the changes that have happened on the homepage, which is what I'm kind of most excited about, and I hope it's going to be a game changer for our applicants, is in the past, they had to click on the incomplete or the started button to see, to go back in, look at any documents that they've uploaded, or they need to go back to the academics page to see that. They're now able to see right now, based on questions I've already answered in this application, that there are 2 documents that they are required to upload. So this takes to the attachments. Since I don't have anything on there right now, if I click attachments, it will take me to the academics page where you're able to do the upload. But if I click on the incomplete button, that will open up another screen that shows right now, based on my questions, I'm required to upload a community college transcript and a college or university transcript. You can click here again, that will take you to the upload section. So everything will live right here on their homepage when they log in. You now see the opportunity one that I just started. So I really think that that's going to be a game changer for them to be able to see that information right here on their page without having to, go back into the application, things like that. The what's new section here, what's going to be really great about this is a lot of times, their emails will end up going to a spam or a junk folder, so they don't always see them. Anything that is generated through the ISTS system, not specifically from us, it has to be an ISTS generated email, will also show up in this section here. So if they're, going into their application every so often, they can see what notifications they have been sent. So anything from an incomplete reminder to, once the round is over, we've gone through selection. If they've been awarded the scholarship, they will now see, the awardee email. All of those will live here on their homepage. Some other things that I do want to share with you are what it will look like as you're sort of going through step by step. So right now, very similar to what was on mine, the application is incomplete. Once they hit the submit button at this point, it now changes to submit. It no longer just says started in a different color. And then once all documents have been processed and accepted by ISTS, it will show as completed. Now, if they log back in after they've submitted, and they see the error in files, again, it's all right here on their homepage for them. So they're able to see it immediately. They'll still be sent emails saying, you know, we've rejected the transcript for, you know, X, Y, and Z missing on it, but they can see the exact error right here. If they were to hover over that section, it lets them know what the reason is, and then they can go to the upload button and re-upload from there. The other thing that they can do is, like when I clicked on the incomplete button and it opened up that second screen that gave me the list of the transcripts, if they were to do the same thing, again, it breaks it down in there as to what's wrong. So for this one, it said it was an incorrect file. For this one, when I hovered over it, it just said, you know, it gives the snapshot of what the person processing the document saw and the reason for it being rejected. Once everything comes to an end, if they have been awarded the scholarship, this was early on as they were working through it. I believe now it actually says recipient instead of winner. But then the accept button where they would go through, fill out the acceptance form, again, right there, all in the same area where they initially filled everything out. So I hope that is helpful for everyone. I hope being able to see the documents right there on the homepage are also, like I said, I think it's going to be a game changer, but I'm hoping that, you know, you, as you're helping somebody, being able to look at it and see it immediately right there is also a game changer for our partners. So that is my spiel for the day, and I will be sticking around for any questions that you have later. Thanks, Chris.
Not a problem. Thank you so much for that walkthrough. Elena, we often hear from our partner colleges that being able to see sort of a live walkthrough of the application process is so helpful for them when they are advising students on how to navigate those particular components. So thank you so much for that walkthrough. I'm gonna remind everyone, I know that there's probably questions on some of the stuff that Elena just covered. Please put all your questions in the Q&A box, not the chat box, so that way we can make sure to tackle all of your questions effectively and efficiently at the end of the session, because we definitely have some time, allotted some time for that. Now let me just get into the promotional piece of this that PCs can be doing. As most of you already know, I was a scholar advisor at TheDream.Us at the Hunter College campus and did a lot of this promotional work in collaboration with my admissions office. So I'm speaking both from a sort of holistically, but also a practical perspective, right? So one thing that you guys all know, for the last month or so, we've been asking for our partner colleges to let us know their mailing addresses because we want to send you promotional materials. We're sending out stickers and flyers to each and every one of you to help in your recruitment processes. One of the ways that I utilized those flyers when I used to get them at Hunter was really working with our admissions office and really identifying the high schools that they were already working with for feeders and sending out those flyers and those stickers to the high schools or the community colleges that they were already working with through a recruitment process, and providing them that information that the scholarship existed at our campus, but also just sort of accompany that with a letter, right? Just letting them know, hey, just want to let you know, you can send that to the college advisor at the high school and say, want to let you know TheDream.Us is a scholarship program for undocumented students. It exists here at our campus. This is how students can apply. I would often print out labels with my contact informations and put them right on the stickers or on the flyers so that that information was also available for them to use and sort of like be able to see easily on the flyers. I think the flyers also serve great as a decal, right? If these anyone promoting the program on their high school campus or their community college campus, just posting the flyer and letting them, students know that this program exists and that this is someone who could actually advise them on this program, is a great way to even start those conversations with these offices. We often know that our students are afraid to sort of talk about their experiences, and this gives them an opportunity to see that this exists and really sort of feel comfortable that this is someone who will be able to sort of advise them and really give them advice on this program. As I mentioned, that letter sort of also would serve really great if you are planning on doing an info session at your campus to help students through the application process, or again, just to learn more about the scholarship on your campus. You can add those sessions to that letter that goes out with the mailing, letting them know, hey, if you have students who are interested, we're holding this session on campus. Feel free to come by and learn more about this program, right? One of the things I would recommend for those individual info sessions, if you're doing it virtual or in person, whichever sort of makes the most sense for you, I would say include an admission staff member, the scholar advisor, and as we always say, a Dream.Us scholar. Your scholars are your best ambassadors, your best advocates for the program on your campus. And for me, I think that is a like triage of a winning team, because if you have admission staff there, you can not only speak about the scholarship program, but really the application process for your entire campus, which students want to know, right? They want to know how they apply to the program, but also how they could apply for your particular college, right? And so this becomes um, just an open forum for them to answer all their questions about their application process. And then again, that Dream.Us scholar really gives them the scholar perspective of how the program is run, what are the support services, how they're navigating college, right? And they get to hear it from what they would consider a peer who's already going through these steps, right? So really, really strongly encourage those info sessions. If you are looking to do a presentation, guess what? TheDream.Us already has a couple of decks that we have put together, both in English and Spanish. We have a national and opportunity deck combined, because we do have some opportunity campuses that also have the national scholarship. So we made sure that we had all of that information in one deck. And then we have the national deck alone. Again, both are available in English and Spanish. And the link to those decks are on the PowerPoint presentation here, right? So we're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to be able to put these sessions together and sort of limit some of the work that needs to be done, right? This, you can really look at the decks and really extrapolate on any of the information that you need without having to recreate the wheel. The other thing I would also recommend is really reaching out to your community-based organizations, churches, recreation centers, or any organizations supporting and working with immigrant populations in your community. Reach out to these sessions. We know that our students are getting information and connecting with different outlets outside of just sort of that academic space. So think out the box, reach out to these spaces. Sometimes we hear from scholars that they actually heard from the scholarship from their parent, right? Who heard it at church, right? And so we want to make sure that we're tackling all of these different avenues for students and connecting them with this opportunity. As you all know, we also have opened up the application process for you to recruit your own students who are already attending your campuses if they did not apply for the scholarship program prior to transitioning into your campus. So I also would recommend that you reach out to your student government and other student groups, the clubs, right? Like if you want to get some gossip out and some bochinche, like forget about sending it to other offices, send it to the students, right? Like they will disseminate that information and it'll catch on like wildfire. And that's on campus, one of the key ways that I think you can spread the promotional materials and the information regarding this opportunity being available on your campus. We've also heard some campuses having great success with hosting application assistance sessions. So if students are having difficulties just going through the application itself, just inviting them to your campus, maybe at a computer lab, and just helping them like manually go through the application process wherever they're getting stuck at. We have heard a number of PCs be able to get students through that completion stage by implementing some of these in-person application assistance sessions. We are also going to be tackling some promotional events from our end. So I would ask everyone just to take notes of these dates. For the Opportunity Scholarship, we're going to be hosting our own virtual college fair to advise anyone interested in the Opportunity Scholarship program. Again, just answering their questions, letting them know how the program works, what exists. It is student facing, but we also encourage any of our partner colleges to come into these sessions. Once those links are available for the sessions, we will be sharing them out with our PCs, and we'll most likely go out in the PC Weekly as well. For the National Scholarship, we have separate dates for that specific scholarship program to do sort of, again, a Q&A with scholars. So again, would recommend that you make note of these dates and attend. For our national scholarships, I would even recommend that you do an in-person viewing of the session. So this is a great opportunity to get students on your campus who are looking at applying to your college and applying for the scholarship program and viewing the session all together. Everyone gets their questions answered together. They can connect with you on campus and really sort of solidifies the application process for students because they're connecting with us online to answer all their questions, but they're also connecting with someone in person on your campus who could also help walk them through that process. Now we're going into the nitty gritty of the tracking and managing applications. As I mentioned, the PC portal will be your stop to be able to pull your applicant pool specifically for your campus. This is something that I would normally periodically check in on just to gauge where I was with my numbers for the application process, right? So I would, 1 month into the application process, I would just check in, see what was going on. If I saw that my numbers were not where I wanted them to be, I would immediately connect with my admissions office and say, hey, like, is there something that we can be doing to ramp up these numbers, or can we be doing some outreach? Or do you have any particular schools that you think would be good for me to personally visit with the recruiter and sort of have folks apply for the scholarship program? So I would encourage you to look periodically at your applications and just see where those numbers are, and really use that as a measuring spoon to if you need to do any additional outreach. In that report, you will be able to see the status of the students, whether they have submitted, whether they have already gotten to that completed status. And so that way you can sort of determine where the students are in the application process. And again, sort of identify which students will require that additional outreach to make sure that they actually complete the application, right? So as we look at that outreach, I want to say for me personally, I want like 3 weeks before the deadline. I really looked at that, saw where students were. If they weren't in that completed status yet, I would start off with an email and just let them know, hey, I'm Chris Aviles. I'm from Hunter College. I know that you applied for TheDream.Us here at our campus, but that you still have not submitted your application or your application is still incomplete. Is there something that I can personally help you with in completing the application? Like, let me know what's holding you up. I really want to make sure you don't miss out on this opportunity, right? So just sort of that additional touch point sometimes would encourage students to really go through the rest of the process because they saw that there was someone there, again, sort of helping them walk through that process. Then I would revisit again about 1 week from the deadline. And I think hopefully by this point, there's just a handful of students that are still either unsubmitted or incomplete. And this allowed me to do a little bit more intimate outreach where I would actually call the student and let them know, hey, again, I noticed that your application is incomplete. like what's going on. Let me know. Do you need any assistance? Are you still interested in the program? How can I answer any questions that you have about the application process? And I found that this process was really helpful and really sort of catching all of the students that would sometimes fall through the cracks from the application process. A couple of reminders. We do require that our PCs have at least 10 new scholars enrolled each application cycle on their campus. We know that our scholars are really in the need of a community on their campus, and that is why we sort of require this. We want there to be a fresh cohort of students really providing that peer-to-peer network on the campus for students. And that is some of the ideology that comes into place with this requirement. And of course, we're the Dream.Us, so we do metrics on everything, and we've done these numbers already, and have come up with these deductions that it really requires roughly about 50 applications started in order to weed down to at least 25 applications completed and submitted. And then the final melt from those numbers, again, these are rough numbers, but the final melt of that usually translates into having at least 10 new scholars enrolled on your campus every application cycle. So this, again, just some metrics for you to keep in mind as you're doing your recruitment process, as you see your numbers growing, and really seeing, sort of having some sense of a marker of where you want to be in your application process. With that, I am going to shift gears to our fabulous Gabby Pacheco, who is going to be talking about the promotional toolkit and some of the external communications that you can be doing for promoting the scholarship program. And I will, Gabby, do you want me to go through the next slide, or do you want me to like just stop sharing now?
Yeah, I am already sharing. If everybody can see my screen, thumbs up. Helena, can you see my screen? Yes, great. Okay, so this is your website. We have created this for applicants, for scholars, for business leaders, and others, and you, our partner colleges. So when you go to the partner college page, you're going to see the promotional toolkit. You're going to click on that, and you're going to see that we have updated the promotional toolkit that has been with us for the last several years. So you should be familiar with it. When you click on it, it's going to take you here. And what I would tell everyone is to please go and review it just with new, fresh eyes. You're going to see there's some information about how to refer yourself, what is our overall goals, core messaging, and my colleague Michael from NP Agency is going to be going over some of these things, but here you're going to see some sample social media hashtags. And the thing is that this year every year we have a theme, and the theme that we've adopted this year is talking about education as some sort of kind of passport. And we're taking that from our new scholar welcome that was done earlier this summer. And Jose Antonio Vargas talked about this, and it really made sense for us. Right now, we are in a very different political climate. And a lot of times people ask us, why should I go to college if I'm fully undocumented? And we have a whole list of reasons why we believe everybody, if they want to go to college and get a career, should do it. And we talk about having a college education as a sort of passport. And more importantly now, right, with the ability of college educated folks being able to get employment-based visas, it has changed and become a game changer. So I would really highly suggest for you all to go through this one more time. It shares how we need to be talking about our partnership. I'm going kind of quickly here, but these are some of the core messages. This is what you can be doing. And here, what you're also going to see is it's going to get updated. This presentation is being recorded. We'll be putting it here. But also you have this really nifty 2-pager toolkit that you can share with others. You can share with your scholars. We're going to be sharing it with our alumni, with partners. And it just gives a little bit of a glimpse of who the Dream.Us is, the 2 types of scholarships, deadlines, and again, some of the social media press releases that Michael's going to be talking about. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that we have now created a tool that you can submit to us any request you may have to be able to do a presentation or do a promotion. We get lots of these from school districts, from the Mexican consulate, for example. We do a lot of promotions from November all the way until February. And so please fill this out. It's going to be available for you. We're going to put it in the PC Weekly and remind you that this is available for you. Sometimes we'll be able to do this in person. Other times we'll give you the PowerPoint presentation, and another time we'll give you a video. So I just want to say thank you. I'm going to stop sharing now. And also just wanted to take this chance and opportunity to welcome Yahaira officially to the Dream.Us team. We're so excited. Hayne, myself, Elena, the whole entire team cannot wait to see all the wonderful things you're going to be doing and how you're going to be supporting all of our PCs. So now I turn it over to Michael.
Thanks so much, Gabby, and thanks for everybody for joining. My name is Michael Earls, and I am at a communications firm called NP Agency. I think I've been in touch with at least some of you over the years, and going back to about 2017, I've had the pleasure of working on behalf of the Dream.Us, and I work with a number of clients, but I always say, and it's very sincere, that the Dream.Us holds a special place in my heart, and I love supporting the scholars and alums as well as the team and getting a chance to meet and work with all of you. I know we want to leave lots of time for a good, robust Q&A. See, there's lots of good questions that are already there. But wanted to very briefly give an overview of how we approach some of the communications and media components of supporting the application round and spreading the word to supplement all of the great stuff that you've already heard about. So I'm going to give a very brief overview, maybe spend a little bit extra time on some of the specific ways that we love partnering with all of you, with the partner colleges, to help spread the word and get especially local attention, which we find year after year is sometimes the way people hear about it. So real kind of top level overview you can see listed here. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail. But we, thinking of it almost sequentially, Chris, if you want to go to the next slide, there's a whole bunch of launch materials we come up with. Gabby just gave an overview of some of this year's. There's graphics, there's the short toolkit that's accessible. We'll also be sharing some stuff that's tailored for specifically partner colleges, but all of this we design in advance. We have English and Spanish graphics and social media posts and things. So really everything any audience might need to help give the key information, to help give some, informative, engaging content to share with others, and then also to direct people to where the sections of the website are, where people can dive in for more info and even do the application. So let's just keep moving through some of the slides that we've got. You can see some examples here. We try to have all the graphics in English and Spanish for obvious reasons, and you can see there, featuring just the referenced section of the site that Gabby just highlighted, where a lot of this great promotional content for you all lives. And we'll keep moving through to the next slide here. And you can see after the materials are all developed kind of in advance, we're talking about today, we love going to the actual launch date. And the way we do that, and let me give you a sense of how that fits from kind of a PR and media standpoint. We have, kind of nationwide, press releases in English and Spanish that we blast out. We do direct outreach to media, but then especially after the launch, we think that it's much more effective to be very tailored and to work in states and specifically in certain cities in some cases, to develop basically state versions of this. And that's where we love highlighting a lot of the specific partner colleges in the region and English and Spanish, and then do a lot of hyper-local pitching to especially concentrated Spanish language affiliates and outlets and weeklies and dailies, alongside some select, English language coverage. And if we can move to the next slide, you can see, last year, for example, just as a little snapshot, how this, how this works. You can see a great Gabby doing a great interview last year, I think on national, I think that's Televisa Univision, as well as a good example of a North Carolina weekly paper. And we really find when we ask people after the fact, how did you hear about the scholarship? That sometimes these local hits, especially in Spanish language, it might be a way that, you know, an applicant's parents or someone else is hearing about it. And so we really think it's impactful. And we have some great anecdotes and data to show that you know, this approach is a good mix of continuing to do some national drumbeat stuff and sending out content, but then trying to focus a lot locally and as I said, with a concentration in Spanish language. So let's move on to the next slide if we can. And this is where I want to just spend an extra second. We have a lot of what we're calling the PC materials and love working in support in conjunction with you all. You see sometimes, and we've been in touch through some of the mentions in the PC Weekly in past template materials. But what we like to do sometimes also is work directly with you or with your communications colleagues at your institution and encourage a whole bunch of ways that we give you the tools and all the info you'd need to be able to spread the word, either directly in partnership and like co-branded, you know, press releases with us, or sometimes kind of seeding the information that then can be great fodder for, you can see a student paper at UNLV last year, as well as sometimes the heart of a press release. You all might send it out to your media lists. There's a Morgan State University, local, CBS hit that was from last year as well as an example. So there's a bunch of different ways that we think having the partner college communications team engaged and working together to try to spotlight local scholars, spotlight the implications for the region. All of that kind of is part of what we're envisioning as successful state and local focus. And if we want to go to the next slide now, you'll see one of the things we have, in a little bit of the toolkit that we've developed specifically for partner colleges, in conjunction with that 2-pager. It's going to be an overview of all the template materials. We'll share it. It has templates for both the national scholarship institutions as well as opportunity scholarship institutions, as well as some kind of tailored social media post examples that are for partner colleges in mind. So more to come on all of these things. You don't have to jot it down now. You'll be getting copies of all this, but that's a little bit of a preview. And let's just keep moving through the last few that I had prepared in advance. Also wanted to highlight, we love working directly with scholars. We usually at the start of each session have a couple of ambassadors that we do some more extensive media training and telling their stories and deploying them. And there's been some really great examples from some individuals from your own institutions. But we also kind of want to seed that idea and encourage you all, wherever appropriate, where we can support, to find maybe a scholar on campus who might be willing to and engaged, interested in media, PR, things like that, and working with them, and we can support them to try to get their story out there. So that notion of the scholar ambassador, and as we found, it's so effective to have that kind of peer-to-peer style engagement. One of the things that I know, again, we've heard in the past is that the scholarship can sound almost too good to be true for some folks hearing about it, kind of wondering what's the catch. So having validators that are, alums, current students just goes a real long way, and we can support that effort in conjunction with you. And then just, I think the last slide I just wanted to highlight is as you can see there, encapsulating why we think this is a good mix of things we like to do on the communications and media side. And it's because we found basically this type of approach is pretty effective in conjunction with all the great work that you all are doing and the other promotional efforts. So the importance of local voices, local press attention mixed in with national, what we've heard from specific scholars. And last year you can see a reference there. There was a campaign going on about an issue in Florida about in-state tuition that TheDream.Us was heavily involved in and Gabby was heavily involved in. And we learned after the fact that there was an uptick in applicants from Florida last year. And one reason is that there was a lot of media attention around TheDream.Us. So that kind of thing can sound a little bit obvious, but it's worth pulling out and reminding ourselves and structuring kind of our approach as a result along some of that feedback. So looking forward to working with you all this year. Be on the lookout for a lot of the materials and approaches we've talked about, and love getting a chance chance to be part of the Power Hour today. And also, just last thing I'll say is we have a couple of in the peer-to-peer space that we want to encourage. We're going to have some creative stuff. Thankfully, some younger colleagues of mine that are more have some more facility with TikTok, but they have some good ideas for some peer-to-peer efforts and campaigns that we'll try to make sure get on your radar screen, and you can spread the word to your institution and your scholars as well. So I will stop there.
Thank you so much for that overview, Michael. You're amazing, MP is amazing. So I'm hoping that our partner colleges really get encouraged to sort of work on these press releases, reach out to you, and really sort of use this resource as an opportunity to promote this application round. I want to save time, as I mentioned, for Q&As. I know that my colleagues have been doing an amazing job of just going into the Q&A box and answering those questions, but wanted to still leave room for any additional questions that folks may have. Since there are no questions in the box, feel free to raise your hand and you can put yourself off mute and we can answer those questions in just audio now. So any questions about anything, the application process, the promotional toolkit, the press kits, any questions at all?
Hi, Chris, Gabriela. I'm checking your
Gabriela.
website. Yes, how you doing? And I see the promotional kits still is 24, 25. When is gonna be updated?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I was checking the website, promotional tools and kits and everything. And it still is 24, 25. When we gonna really start, we can use it the 26, 25, 26.
So I believe we are working on that, and I'll let Gabby answer that question because I know that she's working closely with Nicole on those updates. And so I think I'll leave it up to them to like give a more firm date on that.
Yeah. Hi, Gabriela. How are you? So the toolkit has been updated. So that is updated. We also have put up there already the 2-pager toolkit, which has been updated as well. As soon as this is over, it's being recorded. It'll probably take about an hour. So let's just say everything is going to be updated on our website before October 31st. So November 1 is our launch date, and all of the stuff will be updated before Friday. I did want, and I rose my hand for this because I know that every year we have a conversation around this, and specifically it's become more and more of a question around our eligibility criteria. So our eligibility criteria, for those of you that remember, we first started for a scholarship for those that have DACA and TPS only. And in 2018, we made the change to say DACA eligible. Now we are mirroring some of those DACA eligibilities, but we do require at least 5 years of consistent presence here in the United States, and that the individual had done some high school, right? And be eligible for in-state tuition. So why do we do that? Why do we ask for those 5 years? Is because we want to ensure that our students are not just college ready, but our scholarship really is for individuals that have been living here for a very long time. So the average age of our scholars have gone from 4 to now about 8. And so our scholarship is for individuals who are known as dreamers, right? Individuals that have lived here, that have done their education here, that are graduating from our high schools here. And unfortunately, we also don't have infinite amount of resources. So we know that we get tons of scholarship applications, and unfortunately, we only are able to give, this year it's going to be 1,000 for our national scholarship and 100 for opportunity. So we don't have the ability to support, for example, recent arrivals, refugees, individuals that had just gotten here. So we just want to be very clear of who is that individuals that we're supporting. And the other thing too is that we just also want to let every college know that for the last 2 years, we have said to you, okay, we're going to do 1,100 students and that's it. And then we end up doing more. And 2 years ago, we were able to do 1,800. We received a big application. We had hundreds, maybe like 3,000 applications. And we felt that if we had the money and the resources, we should give as many scholarships out. That is not the case now. We don't have as much money as we've had in the past. So we are really going to stick to our numbers. And so there is, for those colleges that worry about getting to the 10, there's a little bit of sigh of relief. For those colleges in the past that have gotten 80, 100 scholars, that is likely not going to be something that is going to be happening now in this round. So we just wanted to set expectations. And there was a question around, what if we don't get to the 10? And if you do not get to the 10 and it's a consistent thing, we will have a conversation. We do, unfortunately, have to terminate sometimes our partnerships, because our model and why it's so important to have those 10 is because aside from the tuition and fees, right, giving them the scholarship, what our scholars tell us all the time, and all of our scholar advisors can concur, Chris is nodding his head, is that community is really important. So this is what we believe in. This is what our model is. And so if there is times that our institutions are below a certain number, we will have a conversation. Some of the institutions can attest that we work really hard, and we value you. We value you as our partner. This is why we're providing all these resources. We want to do those press releases. And if there is other languages that you want to reach out to, Michael, we've worked with them. For example, Massachusetts, we translated things into Portuguese. We've done things in Chinese and Korean. So we want to reach out to the community. We want to work with you. And, we're here to support you.
Thank you so much for that, Gabby. Do we have any other folks with questions? Okay, so I do have an anonymous question here. How can a non-PC become one? What is the criteria needed for consideration? Oh, I think that's already been answered.
So we're hoping to raise a lot of money. We can only send, if you do the math, 10 times 100, right? That's 1,000. So in order to grow, we're going to need to grow in funding as well. So if you know anybody out there that wants to give to TheDream.Us, let us know, connect us to your foundation and folks, but that is one key metric. We won't be able to expand and bring in more colleges if we just don't have the level of funding that we need to be able to do that.
Awesome. So being mindful of time, and it doesn't seem like we have too many other, or I don't think we have any other open questions. I am going to just share my screen for one last time to do some really quick announcements. So as mentioned, the promo materials are being sent out to your campuses. Today, we've actually extended the deadline. It was last week. We've pushed it back until today. We are still missing a few of our partner colleges, needing to confirm some of the information. It'll literally just take you 2 seconds. We have some addresses for some of these. You can just say confirm if that's the right address. If not, you can update that information. Even if you don't need materials because you still have some, you could just list that in column A, just say no materials needed. And that way we know that we can take you off of the list. But please, today is the deadline for this. So please just make that confirmation on the link so that we can then send the information to our vendor for shipping out this week. We want all the materials to really start getting to our partner colleges within the next couple of weeks to, again, support you in your recruitment process. And then finally, don't leave just yet. I see people leaving. Wait, don't leave just yet. Just ask yourself, have I submitted my EVR today? And if the answer is no, please, October 31st is the deadline. Make sure that you are submitting that before the deadline to avoid any bottleneck issues or delays in submitting the payments to your campus. If you have any questions regarding the EVR process, feel free to email Elena or Camila. and they're amazing. They will walk you right through the process and get that done for you immediately. Thank you, everyone. Again, we know it's October, so happy Halloween to everyone. Unfortunately, PC Power Hour did not land on Halloween this year, so we did not dress up for you like we did last year. But who knows? Maybe next year I can do Bad Bunny Part 2. We can do we can revisit all of that. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your week.